All right, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to LedgerCast. My name is Brian Krogsgaard, here with Josh Olsowich. Hey Josh, how you doing?
Good. You know, last week I had this Senior Frogs joke I was gonna make, but I lost it. I forgot.
Okay.
Mr. Brian, it's good to be here.
I don't know what Senior Frogs was about, but
It's this restaurant. It was closed in Miami. I thought, oh, look at the economy. It's so bad. I can't even make it in Miami. But anyway, it's
okay.
nothing worse than explaining a joke, but forgetting to say it and then explaining it anyway.
But here we are doing that. Doing exactly that. Thanks everybody for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you. We're going to talk about the markets today. Of course, first I want to tell you my business launched. Our app publicly launched in open beta. You can go to flip.xyz right now and you can check it out. Everything you do on Flip is completely free, but if you log in, you get even more because then you unlock My Flip, where you can follow collections, assets, wallets, and it is a beautiful dashboard for all things NFT. Your entire NFT life can occur on this website, and it is really nice. If I must say myself, check out what the current floors are. You can buy directly in the app. You can get information about any asset that you care about. You can dig deep and see all the little details, the type of assets that you're interested in, explore, look at top holders, get all activity, look at rarity information, stalk your friends by following their wallets, and
that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Like if you want to
stalk you, if I wanted to,
you can stalk me. So if you go to our app and then you search for ledgerstatus.eth, you can see my public wallet. You can see all of my collections. You can filter, see my exact activity. You do all kinds of stuff. So there you go.
Cool.
You can see.
Is it multi-chain yet? I know you guys.
It's not multi-chain, but it is multi-exchange. So you can go to sales, for instance, and you see there's a look rare one there. But if you want to say, show me just large sales or show me a specific marketplace, if you want to say, what's going on over there at Coinbase, then you can see the stuff that's resolving to their on-chain side of their trading, which is not much so far.
I was going to say, I would love to see those values compared to OpenSea or anybody else.
They're not high.
I know. It reminds me of like the CNN Plus launch that failed after a month. I feel like this Coinbase thing is going to be, I don't know. I'm the wrong person to talk about NFTs, but
yeah. Well, you could say, I want to see everything that's not OpenSea, for example, and just look through all those trades. There's a lot of stuff you can do. We're really excited about it. And we have tons of stuff that we're working on. You can view a specific sale and see which exchange it happened on, what's the price. Then you can say, well, that wallet looks interesting. Let me go dig into that and see who they are and follow that wallet. Just go down the rabbit hole, man. Right now we support somewhere between 800 and 1,000 collections, but we are rapidly adding support for all the collections where you have full long tail support. So actually what we do is we detect an NFT sale happening on chain, and if we don't know that contract address, we will siphon all the assets and all the information and all the goodies directly off that new contract address. And then you can very quickly go explore it. But we haven't turned that on yet because when you have to fix the data, you would have to fix it on all of those things. So we're trying to make sure that everything's good on the collections that are a little more voluminous. But here's Moonbirds ranked by rarity.
Since we're talking about NFTs, can you explain to me why these are popular? Are they just the flavor of the week NFT that took off, or what?
They are popular because no trade count 3. Interesting. They're popular because Kevin Rose, Proof, paid his dues and did a lot of stuff in the ecosystem, and they have some tokenomics, I guess, if you will, for Moonbirds that make it appealing to people, and they've just done really well. So it's more of buying into the community as a whole than just one thing. But
okay.
I think it's kind of hard to say exactly like why did this one go to 5 ETH and this one go to 35 ETH. You know, like that's the part that's hard to say for sure. But people like the community, like what the potential future for these would be. I certainly don't think it's about the art. I mean, they're pixelated owls.
Again, like it's cool, but like, is it worth what it's worth? Right? Who am I to say that it isn't? You know, this is up to people trading this, obviously. But that's the part that's the most difficult for me to understand.
Yeah.
The only NFT I'm ever going to get excited about buying is anything related to Magic the Gathering. So Hasbro, if you're listening, there's a gold mine out there for you, because there I can connect like utility to in the game to price, right, and rarity and all this other stuff. Like that's what I'm used to seeing. You know, that's one of the reasons why as a kid I stopped collecting baseball cards. Like I just didn't see the utility in it. But yeah, it's almost never about the art. Says Neb7 in the chat. I feel you there. I feel you there.
Nevertheless, if you're really interested in buying a Moonbird that's wearing a top hat and a diamond necklace, then you can do that on Flip.
Well, I like the visual part of this the best. You know, like you can actually see. Not that you can't on other websites, but that's the part that drew me to the website.
You can't see it the way that you can see it with us. I'll tell you that. We are building this for degenerates. So I mean,
it looks great. The UI UX looks amazing. So congrats on that.
Thank you. I just want people to be able to use this and not have to care about anything else.
Fair enough.
So anyway, we can stop talking about it, but this is my life's work.
This is my Mona Lisa.
So the App Store component is pretty cool too. Nobody has mobile apps for anything in crypto, but we actually have mobile apps for Android and Apple right now that will sync with your account. And when you follow those wallets, what we'll do over time is make it so that you can categorize these actually, and then choose to have notifications for a certain category. So if I want to know, like, is Keyboard Monkey dumping on me, then I can get those notifications right when they occur. Or for a particular collection, if there's something that I want to know, then I can get that information right away. So, yeah, really excited. And that's that.
You know, it makes me like NFTs. That's how good the website is.
Wow.
I'm never going to buy one, most likely, but you know, I like it's the data part of it for me that I enjoy.
Yeah, and we're working to improve that. Sam just ran P&L information on every transaction in our system for all our qualified collections, so we'll be able to visualize that pretty soon. So anyway,
very cool.
The market sucks, Josh.
You're telling me as a guy who still has an open long from 44K, who still has an open long on ETH from 3,100.
The market sucks, and at the same time, it's in the same range it's been in for a very long time. So it's like,
well, as much as this sucks, like Netflix is down 37% this week or something, or was down. I think it's still at lows. Like we got what was it? Snap. I don't want to talk too much about legacy stuff, but you know, it's like looking at this volatility. If you zoom out on this volatility, it's nothing. It's peanuts. It may feel intra-week like it's all over the place, but then you compare this volatility to traditional markets. Look at DXY, VIX, 10-year, 30-year, USD JPY, right? Any of this other stuff. It's all over the place right now. Absolutely all over the place.
Netflix looks dead.
It does look dead. It really does.
The dev died on this coin.
But I guess my point is, like, how can crypto expect to do well when we have this stuff in the background? You know, like not only are we correlated to Nasdaq basically like 1-to-1 on a super low time frame, but we also have this stuff going on, which is just we have traditional companies just absolutely collapsing. Like this is FANG. You're looking at FANG right here.
Yeah,
I think look at Facebook too. Facebook's on lows today.
Yeah, I think you put this in linear, and it tells like the story even more strongly, right? I mean, Netflix mooned for so long, and now this correction off the top, and I think it's worth explaining why. So down 69.9%. But Netflix was priced as a growth company. And then they came in with a surprise so big that not only did they start growing slower, they shrank. A growth company shrinking is a death knell to their like all their ratios, right? Like you're priced as a growth company. If you are no longer growing, then the repricing required is enormous and immediate. So it went down 36% the next day, because your multiple is just incorrect, right? If you're priced as a growth company, then you support a higher multiple. And so they got repriced.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook was the same way, right? Like they lost growth or slowed growth.
That's slowed growth. Netflix didn't slow growth. They shrank. They lost net customers, which is like, oof, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just bad. Where is my Facebook one? Can't find it. That's okay.
So it's just hard. It's hard to, like, as bullish as I am here, as bullish as I want to be here, obviously seeing this stuff happening, seeing rates rising, right? The whole environment together just is not conducive to near-term bullishness, right?
Tech is in a bear market.
Yeah.
Phase 2 of a bear market. Look at this Facebook retest. Perfect. 200 week. Boom. Dead.
Yeah, like I said on Twitter, exactly. Whiskey Mountain, dear Anon, stop sharing your password. Crypto's melting.
Who's sharing their password?
No, Netflix came out and said that they think 100 million people are sharing passwords.
Oh, jeez.
It's just a funny, this could the spy or whatever this is could be an inverted head and shoulder. Yeah, that looks like a decent case for one.
Inverted or
inverted.
Normal?
Yeah, on the daily there.
This is a weekly topping formation.
I mean, yeah, when you zoom out, but I'm just saying, there's fractals back and forth there.
Oh, there's no way
on the daily.
I'm not betting on that.
You see what I'm talking about, though, right?
I see what you're talking about. It failed it. It just failed it today, I would say.
No, it didn't fail it until
it makes.
I mean, technically, it's not even complete. Like we want to, go down that rabbit hole. Technically, it's not complete. It's just being pareidolia and seeing it.
I will take this this head and shoulders over the failed head and shoulders.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
I think this looks like it wants to go back to the 2021 Open, which is no bueno. That is a recession. That's a 20% correction. The weekly 200 is a 30% correction, and I could totally see that happening as well. This looks like it wants to be recessionary territory, and that's the S&P. The Qs are uglier. The Qs look like new lows and down. And the thing is, you go into log, it doesn't hit these levels often. When it does, it's either the best buy or bad news bears.
It's brutality. It's brutality.
Yeah. So anyway, same time as the Dixie is continuing to moon. We talked about like the Dixie could top at any time because it's so extended, but it's in a parabolic up move. So we don't know when that's going to happen, like very, very significant dollar strength here. Maybe we can draw a curved meme line here for the parabola.
Nice little banana, whatever it's called.
Yeah. So
that looks like ETH did on its run up from
and this is the dollar. It disappeared on me.
I think I saw the USD CNY was weakening too, which I guess makes sense if USD's strengthening, but DXY strengthening.
This is Turbo Moon dollar parabola.
We're a salmon streaming up stream right now. I don't know if we'll get to breed this season because man, the stream is so strong, pushing against us.
Right.
We got the Fed. We got everything else going on.
This is the COVID peak fear dollar spike when people were just freaking out, right? And that started the ultimate bull market. Like crypto will get an amazing move when this tops. The fear is like when That's a nasty look. Like it could very well. The hard part is the top of the range could, if it's in a range, it could range anywhere in here. That's what's hard, right? 100 to 104, you really don't know anything.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know enough about my own currency to tell you what that even means or feels like at that level. But
well, here's what gets scary about that, right? You zoom out enough, and it just looks like breaking out of a decade-long flag.
yeah, but the only context I really have is relative to crypto. Like, I really don't know what that means.
Me either. I mean, like, what does it mean if the dollar gets the type of strength to go back to 20 years ago, goes to 120? That's so much pressure on everything. Yeah, this is we have not had a time like this in a very long time. And this current backdrop of rates increasing rapidly to account for inflation, a tightening QT is happening now. We're talking, there are rumors out right now, Josh, of 75 basis point adjustments from the Fed in one go. We went from they won't do any for 50 to we're pricing 175 and 250s all in a row.
I just think they're so behind the curve on what they should have done and what they needed to be doing.
That now they're going to go the other way. They're going to freak out and go the other way.
They're just trapped. What else are they going to do, right? Rates are already whatever. I don't know.
If rates go too high, we can't even service our own debt. Like, they're in a pickle.
Yeah, I don't envy them, but at the same time, they did maybe too much in post-COVID. They turned on the jet fuel afterburners, and now we're dealing with those consequences, right?
Beyond, not just post-COVID, pre-COVID, the tax cuts in 2017 when the economy was banging, those weren't necessary, and that was legislative that Trump participated in at a time when rates had not risen enough to give us any tools. So we had no tools, right? We started spending money then. We spent more money. We kept rates at zero. We smashed rates to the ground. So when you're spending like crazy and your rates are zero, it's just a lot of hot air in the balloon. And now they're kind of forcing maybe they're just trying to get rates up real quick to give themselves a tool set, but they know they're going to cause real problems in the market, and then they can start easing on. I don't know how it plays out. I just know it's a little dicey. And with Bitcoin consistently being treated like a risk on asset and not a risk off asset, not that risk off assets are doing that much better.
No.
There's a liquidity crunch. When the Dixie moons, there's liquidity crunch.
The VIX is up today too, I think, which is never good.
Yeah, VIX is up. But gold going down at the same time as all this other stuff. As an example, like
where do you go? Do I buy NFTs? I guess so. I guess maybe it's time. That's the real flip.
Just that.
Josh buys an NFT.
I don't want to flood the industry that my whole business is in. But
then don't. Just don't.
But we will continue to see the adoption of NFT technology. We will see more NFTs. We will see NFTs find additional use cases. That does not mean that a bird has to be worth $100,000. Right. A pixelated bird does not have to be worth $100,000.
I think what makes me bullish on layer ones, future layer ones, like even near, I know virtually nothing about this protocol, but it is getting crazy amounts of VC funding, not just the protocol, but other dApps within that protocol, within that ecosystem. So I'm super bullish on the future of this stuff actually having an impact. Even all these NFT, metaverse, gaming stuff, like tons and tons of VC money flowing into that as well, which I don't think much of that's going to amount to anything, but
yeah,
so exciting.
Seth says like we're in a burning building and no one can find the exit, and Neb says Pudgy Penguin safe haven. So I don't know. I'm not trying to FUD Moonbirds. I'm not trying to FUD anything. I'm just saying it is a fact that these things don't need to be priced that way. The fact that they are is fine, but it doesn't mean they're like some new ultimate form of value. It just means that there's significant speculation, and that degree of speculation in a liquidity crunch can get crushed quickly if things get bad enough. It's not a hard asset.
Let's talk about the daily B-band or weekly B-bands on BTC real quick.
Yeah. I'll share your screen. I've been sharing my screen long enough.
No, it's fine. I tweeted this out a couple times already, but so what B-bands do is measure volatility. When they contract, it means there's no volatility. When they expand, it means there's lots of volatility. They look at two standard deviations above or below the 20-week, in this case, moving average, which ultimately has, for crypto, as well as just a lot of non-crypto stuff. You can do back testing on FX and equities, whatever else, for the just 20-week MA, right? It's the simplest thing in the world to look at, even simpler than the 200-day moving average. You can see how it looked in 2016. You can see how it looked in 2017. It's pretty binary. Doesn't really dance around too much. We certainly have been dancing around that in 2021, but if we start to consolidate, here's the kicker. This is the heat of the meat right here. If we consolidate below the 20 MA, that typically means massive bearish bias.
RIP.
And we're in trouble. We are in trouble. And I got pretty excited earlier this week when we actually got to 43, because that meant we were above the 20-week SMA or 20-week MA. I keep saying SMA. It's just an MA. I got excited. I was like, oh, there's some life in us yet, right? But every single US Open this week has just been nothing but selling. Nothing but selling.
Yeah.
So currently, as we sit, the bias is bearish, not investment advice, blah, 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 prognostication, blah, blah, blah. None of that. But the way this is panned out historically is not great. One saving grace here is that 2018, we had Tether collapsing, we had crypto capital stuff, we had equities, traditional markets collapsing, we had a Bitcoin fork of a fork, ABC, SV, whatever that was, right? That certainly helped break us out of this consolidation. There isn't as much of that stuff going on now. NFTs are still fairly doing okay. If you can compare this to ICOs as well, right? We had this ICO boom bust. NFTs still largely here. Volumes on DEXs still okay, right? None of this stuff is like going bonkers anymore, but we don't see the drop off in the activity like we do compared to 2018, and we certainly don't have any massive infighting that's going to collapse us, right? Like this was literally miners selling this week.
Bitmain pressure, miners capitulating. Mining was not profitable at that price either, and so they were shutting down. Mining is still profitable for Bitcoin. There's a lot of weird stuff in this chart, and it looks like it wants to go down, but I don't think Bitcoin is at like some massive bubble-ish premium, and like anything like that, but it could fall victim to a liquidity issue and lose 50% of its value. I think if it dumps, it's going to be a generational buying opportunity for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everything else, I don't know. Everything else might go down 95%, but
here's two things to watch. The first thing, are we above or below that 20-week moving average? That is key. We were dancing around it a little bit this week. Nothing definitive just yet. That's the first thing. The second thing is, where do these B-bands go next week and the week after? Because the resolution of this is when we're below the bands or above the bands, right? Like that's when that the consolidation's over, volatility is over, or volatility squeeze is over. And the third thing to watch for is how many weeks are we below that level? Because like 2018, if we spend the next 8 weeks below the bands and we keep tightening on the bands, then for me that becomes a pretty short idea, because there's such strong bias against going higher at that point. The back testing is very clear. Multiple weeks below the 20 as we're squeezing is just very high probability situation to the downside. So maybe it's different this time, But
no, I think I think it's a good likely outcome. I think this is still a very possible outcome where you get a capitulation lower. People call it over, but then it just doesn't last very long in that scenario. Can also coincide with if Legacy finally nukes, bottom falls out, they do a couple of rate changes and then back off because it freaks everything out too much or something breaks or whatever. Within a month or two, courses reverse, value is good enough, corrections were strong enough, and then you just kind of end up right back in the range. This is Arthur Hayes had his latest article was pretty similar in this thesis. Bitcoin and ETH could get quite cheap, but don't let them steal your coins in that scenario type of thing.
Yeah, I think leverage here obviously is tough because we're all over the place. Leverage longs, if we break down below the 2021 range, are dangerous. You don't know where we're going other than maybe the 200 week moving average, which is currently at 21.5. Like if I decide to take a leverage long, it's going to be somewhere around there. I won't, because I know this can go way lower as it has, intraday or intra-week. Look at 2015, look at COVID, right? It isn't necessarily the exact bottom, and it could just be wrong, right? You never know. But that's where I feel most comfortable, like starting to think about buying anything if we break the range.
Yeah.
If we're in the range, we're cozy, we're comfy, right? We can go all over the place. But not only that, but we talked about this probably last week. The cloud is also telling you, anything below 34.5. And historically on backtesting, that is not somewhere you want to be long if we're below the weekly cloud. It just doesn't work out for you. That's it, right? Like, it's simple. We've got 10 years to look at. Every time we're below that weekly cloud, it's been death.
It's simple and it's not simple, because you have to consider, what changes do I make based on these levels occurring? Am I going to capitulate and never get back in? Am I going to add to my position that's a core position? Am I going to go from alts to majors? Am I going to go from majors to dollars? Am I going to average down or be all out until I try to catch the Pico bottom on a knife catch? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to respond to this price action?
You have to have a plan, right?
Yeah.
To me, it means no more leverage longs till we figure our stuff out, because
yeah, I think I have been too busy for leverage, but also just have not had the confidence in leverage. I have had the conviction to stay, essentially. I mean, I had lowered my price several times. I had made some good trades, and then I was just like willing to hold spot ETH. I really like the ETH BTC chart still, so that's one of my driving forces, for better or for worse.
One last thing I'll say about BTC before we move on to that. The last piece of hopium I'm holding on for is this ascending triangle, which I've talked about for God knows how long now, but we're still technically okay, Now we might be.
It's one of those,
the problem with this is,
how many times can you test that?
The problem with this is we're now actually
leaving the cloud
again.
The cloud is telling you to get out of that.
Cloud is telling me, get the hell away from this long, Josh. You know better. If you lose money, you're dumb. Like, I know that, right? But at the same time, we hit 43 yesterday, right? So I'm like, okay, we got time. I got time, right?
Anyway. Yeah. The rapidity of these swings has been incredible. Rapidity.
That's an Alabama word.
The rapidness.
We learned that.
The rapid nature. The quick nature. I think rapidity is a word. I'm not right. Rapid.
We'll allow it. I don't think it's a word.
Quality of moving or reacting with great speed. Okay. The fact of happening at a great rate, swiftness. Technology spreads with extraordinary rapidity. See, I'm smart. You're dumb.
That's fair. But yeah, this thing, it's falling out of the ascending triangle. It's falling out of the cloud. It's just nothing but chop. Absolute mega ultra turbo chop. Which, again, not like 2018. 2018 was literally just flat death, nothing, zero volume. It's a bit different this time.
I fully agree with Celeb Garfield. Please pump into next month so we can sell in May and go away. And that's probably why we can't. Everybody just wants to get out. Anyway, the one trade, the thing that's keeping me in, Josh, is this dadgum ETH BTC chart just won't quit on me.
It looks great.
It's the classic. We're gonna end up at 2K and 20K, and this is gonna go to 0.1. I'm gonna be poor, but I'm gonna win the trade. Tell me that's not right.
I mean, it's a possibility.
It's a
talked
possibility.
about it. It's
going to go to here, but ETH is going to be at 2K. And I'm going to be sad about it. Like, I'm going to be right and sad. Is the worst? I'd rather be wrong and happy.
Fair enough.
If I have a long enough lens, though, ETH will go back to 20K, and it's a 10x off that 2K bottom, maybe 1,800. Cred and Don are like hyper bearish. Like Don's like, yeah, I think we can go to 12, 14K. And I'm like, could you please stop on BTC? That's like $1,000 Ethereum. Oh, but that the other side of me is like, if I can convince myself to be out of the market for that level of extraordinary capitulation, then you have a generational wealth opportunity of like 20x upside on majors. And it's tempting. I just don't like being such a bear. What do you think? I'm going to sneeze. So
I think it's tough to see how we get to 12, 20. I can see. I think we get to 12 or 15 if like UST explodes and they need to sell those reserves, like we've talked about. That's
is there even enough leverage? Like, remember how much leverage there was at 6K and all that stuff? Like, people were levering the crap out of it during compression, and it, it's just kind of building a ripe scenario for that. I don't know if there's really that much leverage in the market, or if maybe it's just a pure liquidity thing that ends up happening, and people just are desperate for dollars.
Well, the float is certainly significantly smaller because we know that 65% of the coins haven't moved in the past year. We know that exchange balances are continuing to decline on both BTC and ETH. Again, that's different than 2018. 2018, we saw nonstop deposits during that consolidation period.
Yeah, I won't make it to 12K unless it's 2 trades. Like, I will hopefully be out if these levels break down. Hold on, I need to remove my drawings. I say this every week, but I think it bears repeating. I will hopefully be out if we lose the range, and then I will want to be in when it bounces off that type of situation. If it loses that, then I would hope to be out from the underside, right? And then the next thing is be in from the doomsday scenarios. So the question is, are you buying here the forever long? Or are you buying here the forever long, somewhere in between? Like finding the bottom if it goes below it. But before we ever get to those scenarios, I will buy this line. I will buy it. Wherever that 200-week moving average goes to, I will buy it. I will buy it. And I will hopefully do it with dollars and not leveraging spot positioning. The question will be, how good of a bounce do we get off that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. That's it, if not there, then where?
Yeah, because nothing else matters.
Watch us wick to 12, bounce back to 20 in one day. That's like classic crypto. Like you have this man, like you think you're smart, and then everything goes to hell in a handbasket in a day, and you're like, well, that happened.
Yeah. The scariest scenario, as someone says, we would have plenty of time. That would be truly sad. Like if you did something like this, like you just hover on that depressed level for months. That would be absolutely depressing. And that's actually a very good scenario to where you buy it, it does nothing, and then eventually you do it again. Oh boy, Josh, things would be bad if that happened.
Well, that's why it's easier to break those levels when you're sideways, like sideways down, like Zcash, right? It's a classic example where it can just go down and bleed forever. Whereas like the COVID stuff or the 2018 stuff, like loves to tap and bounce like that.
That's like 10-year bear market type price action if that happens. And then everybody's really sad because they're used to being like getting rich again every 3 years, or every 4 years, and washing out the new money, and then off you go again. And if you don't get that cyclical nature, if like suddenly trading just becomes impossibly hard and all the money bleeds out and there's no pumps and it sucks for 10 years, then that's brutal.
I don't think we're there yet. For the record,
I don't either. Like I said, I'll buy it. I'll buy the level if we break down from this. I will try to escape with my shirt, and I'll try to buy the lower level wherever that is. Preferably, just jump to the 200 week at that point, and that's what I'll buy. I'll be happy about it, and then I'll pray it moves up, and I'll wait for what's next.
Fair enough.
I just hope this doesn't happen, because this is.
I mean, if this happens, alts are absolutely slaughtered, right?
Oh, 99% down or more. Rug City, VCs out of business.
Terra exploding, stuff like that. Anchor exploding, Waves exploding even harder than it already has.
Waves. All right, everybody's asking about XMR, so
I pulled it up too. But no, like Waves in USDN that's like what, 1.3 billion. If you look at Terra, that's like 18 billion. Like, I'm just very concerned with that in a bear market, how that's going to perform. Because Terra still looks okay. Its TVL's probably at an all-time high today.
Yeah.
Talk about XMR first, but yeah, XMR BTC just crushing it over the past how many days here since April, the beginning of the month, really. They talked about some like reserve crunch run on exchanges. What day that was, maybe chat knows, but I don't know if that's playing a role here or not, or if some other hack thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know why privacy coins go up and down at the end of the day.
It always happens in April, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Privacy coins in April? Why is that?
Taxes. It's a tax. It's a tax meme every year. Every year.
Monero's the tax haven.
You're Mr. Seasonality. You got to go back. I don't even think it is a tax haven. I just think people like to talk about it that way.
I am Mr. Seasonality. You're right, but I never put two and two together.
Yeah, well,
sure.
There's your two. There's lots of talk on Twitter about whale movements. Justin Sun cashing out 35,000 ETH via Binance. A3AC buying 26,000 ETH last Saturday, and perhaps exiting 1 or 2,000 ETH per hour today by not trying to move markets. Screenshots of Alameda moving Ethereum to FTX. Got some good bear stuff.
It's good stuff all around, really. I mean,
yeah, none of that's verified. It's just tweets, but just worth noting. There's fears in the market, fears in the air.
But when you see that size moving on chain, it's like, well, who could have that much?
Yeah. And what are they doing with it? Why are they sending it to centralized exchanges? And the answer is probably hedging it out or selling it, or whatever.
There's only one reason. It's always selling. It's that is the reason. I can tell you this with confidence. That's the reason, right? You may be able to lend it somewhere or whatever, but you're not going to do that on a centralized exchange. You're going to get better rates. Like if you're going to lend something and you're in DeFi, you're going to do it on Anchor. You're going to do it on like some place where the rates are absolute insanity, right? Maple.
Yeah. I don't know, Josh. I don't know. We are trying to swim uphill here. I don't like it. It's not comfy. It always feels like this when you have a ranging bottom, though, right? At the same time, if the bottom is not a capitulatory bottom, it's always this extraordinary uncertainty, and then you ha at everyone as you point to them selling the bottom. The range doesn't break, and it chops around for another 5 weeks. Maybe we do that.
Yeah, I mean, as bearish as we are, we're not dead yet. It's just we're leaning towards a resolution that is bearish.
Yeah, we're at the doctor. We see the reports in front of us. They haven't told us the results, but we're like, I don't know much about medicine, but that look good. Yeah, I don't know if that's a pretty bad analogy, but
I think it was decent. I give it a B+.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Terra, by the way, which
looks like a massive distribution top.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but what is this going to look like in a bear market?
Back to the lows.
It's just, man, I get nervous when there's stuff like this that holds so much BTC. It's algorithmic stablecoin, yada yada yada.
I like Whiskey Mountain says, luckily everyone will have called the move if it happens. No matter, and that's no matter what.
Oh,
that's
100%.
That's whether it goes up or down. Everyone will have called it. Everyone will tell you, didn't you XYZ anon, whatever, supportive of thing. I freaking hate that stuff. I just know I don't like this. I am still exposed to the market. I just don't like being exposed to the market at this moment. I would like to see the numbers go up if I'm going to be in the market. If somebody could tell me the market is going to go down further, all the evidence points towards that. I should be out of the market. So next time we talk, maybe I will have capitulated.
Yeah, it's tough because even the traditional 60-40 is getting slaughtered this year, more so than ever.
Oh, smoked. I mean, there's danger across the board, Josh. It is uncertain city.
Mortgage rates hitting highs we haven't seen since 2008.
I saw a number of the average mortgage going to 5.2%, which seemed very high.
And that's going to start breaking some things for sure.
Oh, no doubt.
So it's going to be a rough ride ahead. Buckle up.
That said, I'm going to go close on a property right now.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. It was good talking markets with you. We need to get it out of our system. We'll be here, bull market, bear market, whatever else. Go to flip.xyz. Talk to you later. See ya.
Monuments crumble in the blink of an eye. The easy river that's just in a house of cards. I feel the breeze wound so tight I can barely breathe. Oh, the chains, oh, the chains.